invite you to take your hands and touch your mouths.
Can we stand?
Yes.
Let's stand.
Please touch your lips. Remember Isaiah, how he prayed? How often have we said, "Let the word of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer." Holy God, we ask that you do speak through our lips. Let us be like holy hoses. You be the power, and we will let you come through. We want your spirit through our mouths. We want your love in our hearts. We want your truth, your peace, and your wisdom to fall on each one of us individually and on this assembly gathered in your name for your holy purposes. Through Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Microphone.
Thank you, Bishop. My name is Lenny Maxwell. I'm clergy at in Hutchinson District, Kansas. Bishop, do I need a second on this resolution before I can speak to it?
No, because it's coming from Clergy Excellence, so it doesn't need a second. Oh.
No, it's not. It's coming from me, sir.
Okay.
I am excellent clergy, but...
all right. So what do you... State your motion.
Page 21, I believe.
All right.
The resolution
so
for
it's Resolution
renewal.
11, renewal leave for clergy. Can we get a second? All right, second. Go ahead, Lynn.
All right. So there's a story told about a pastor who's in prayer in her office, head bowed, hands clenched, when the church administrator burst into the room, sees her pose and pauses, but then with a sigh, she says, "Oh, good." That would be funny if it weren't so true. You know, it's hard work out there, and it's going to get harder. And when we're in a culture that doesn't value the things that connect to the only one who can do this clergy job, besides the bishop, the other one, then it's even more difficult. I know this is a bad time. We've already talked about timing, thanks to our treasurer today, but I don't know if there's a good time. It's not a bad time because we may not have a denomination next year. We don't know. It's not a bad time because we're busy electing our delegates to the great shootout at the Not Okay Corral in 2020. What it is a bad time is too late. It's too late for so many.
Lenny, you have a minute. Could you please tell us what you want the body to consider?
I thought we didn't have time limits. All right.
We have 3 minutes.
All right. So this is not a new concept. This is simply a clarification of what many believe is the intent of paragraph 305. That the intention is that clergy can revive the passion for our call and refocus our perspective. It can't be done structured retreat when we're told what hour we can and can't pray. It can't be done in continuing education. It can't be done on a week or 4 weeks vacation. It is about going away and resting for a while. A while is long enough to forget the daily stuff of the church and bask in a renewal of God's love and acceptance. I think this should be seen as an essential part of spiritual leaders as a part of our missional priority. When bringing in the young clergy through the front door, we forget that the back door has been left open, and all we have to do is see the number of clergy that are retiring, some of them younger than me. I know 40 is pretty darn young. And we're not even going to talk about the ones who are taking leave because
Lenny, your time is up. Thank you. All right. So resolution 11 is before us. I see a blue card. Go ahead. Lenny, stand at the mic. You might need to answer this question.
Greg Lacer, Kansas City lay leader and Heritage UMC lay leader. On line 25 and 26, it says, who have served 6 consecutive years under full-time appointment. My question is that full-time appointment at one appointment or all appointments?
My intention is no, it's any full-time appointment in the Great Plains area,
For all
in the
of,
conference.
can we have that wording added? Friendly amendment or?
Okay,
accept
so
that
you
as a
have an
friendly
amendment.
amendment.
All right, what do you want to insert or strike? And we need that in writing. If you're going to make it, how would you make the motion for that?
Okay, after, under full-time appointment, just add, in all appointments during the 6-year period.
So you want to strike out under full-time appointment,
No, I want to leave that. I just
Okay.
want to add,
insert. Where do you want to insert?
after full-time appointment,
Okay,
and just include all appointments during that 6-year period, instead of one appointment at one church. Or one
I'm
appointment.
still lost. Help me show me where this is at.
He wants
Line
to
25
add,
and 26.
I see it right here.
clergy members 6 consecutive years on a full-time appointment, including all appointments.
Okay. Including all appointments. Yeah. That's right. That's right. I'm going to rule that out of order. You started with a question and made an amendment. So that's, thank you. Yeah, see, that's an example of starting with a question and start, so thank you. Maybe somebody else can raise that, all right? Microphone 1.
Jesse Lipp, St. Paul's Lenexa laity. After speaking with the maker of the motion about some edits he wished to make, I have 2 amendments to offer. The first of which is on lines 30 through 33 to strike the section beginning with at least equal to the section that ends to an interim pastor, and to insert negotiated by the district superintendent and interim pastor, so that the section would read in full: the Great Plains Annual Conference shall provide an amount negotiated by the district superintendent and interim pastor for the agreed upon period. I believe the secretary already has this in writing.
All right. Is there a second to that amendment? There's been a second. All right. Jesse, you want to speak to that?
I'm making this motion on behalf of the maker of the motion. My
Okay.
understanding is that was an edit he wished to make, so I have no further speeches for it.
All right. But Nan, do you have the amendment that it was just, I just want to make sure that we have it. Okay. Do you have a mic? I need to restart it so that the body knows exactly what we're inserting and what we're voting on. Yikes. All right, thank you. Okay. Okay, so this is the amendment, and Great Plains Annual Conference shall provide an amount, and we're going to strike out at least equal minimum compensation of a full member, associate member, or full-time local pastor as listed with pastor, and insert an amount negotiated by the district superintendent and an interim pastor for the agreed-upon period in which the pastor under appointment is on renewal leave. All right, so that is the amendment to the resolution. Is there a speech for or against? Is someone moving to the microphone? Okay, microphone 4. And all you can amend, okay, yellow is, let me just remind myself, okay, oppose, okay, you're going to oppose. All you can address is the amendment that's before us, okay? All right, so we're dealing with the amendment that is on the floor. We're striking and inserting new language on line amount. Where's that line, Jesse, again?
Lines 30 through 33.
Okay, 30 to 33. An amount provided. I'm sorry.
Negotiated by the
Yeah. Negotiated by district superintendent and interim pastor. All right, we're dealing with, okay, we have question.
Point of order.
Yes?
We have 2 amendments. Are we voting
No,
on them
the
combined?
first amendment was ruled out of order because it was a question that turned into an amendment. So the first one was off, so this is the one that we're dealing with now.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. Okay. Is there someone at microphone 3? All right.
My question can wait till after the
Okay,
amendment.
okay. All right, so microphone 6. Where's microphone 6? Okay, microphone 6.
My question is also not about the amendment.
Okay,
About the,
all right. So the amendment is before us to strike out on line 30, 31 to 33, strike out at least equal to the minimum compensation of a full elder associate member or a full-time local pastor listed in the report of the Personnel Committee in the Conference Journal of the Annual Conference, and insert negotiated by the district superintendent and an interim pastor. Are we ready to vote? If you would approve the amendment, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, the amendment carries, so this is now the new amendment. Jesse, you have
Yes.
second? Okay.
The second amendment that I wish to offer after speaking with the maker of the motion is on line 28.
Line 28.
After self-renewal, to insert a sentence saying, "This policy should be in place and readily available by January 1st, 2020."
All right.
I believe the secretary also has that one
Yes,
in
I
writing
have
as
it.
well.
I have it from me. So this is an additional sentence inserted after line number 28, and it gives a date for implementation, beginning, right, which is the policy should be in place and readily available by January 1, 2020. Is there a second? All right, Jesse, is there anything further you want to add to that?
As with the previous amendment, no.
Okay, so this is the second amendment, and this has been in consultation with the maker of the motion. Are we ready to vote? Okay. If you would approve the amendment to insert the sentence, "This policy should be in place and readily available by January 1st, 2020, say aye. Opposed? No? All right. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Now we have a question. Let me see. Microphone 4 was first, if I remember correctly. And then if she doesn't ask the question you're asking, then we'll go to yours. Please make a question and not a motion. Oh, you have an opposition. Okay, you want to speak?
Against the motion.
Okay, hold on. So we have amended the motion. So now we need a vote for this as amended, okay? So now we've amended it twice. Now we need to vote on the resolution as amended. No,
Vote on the second amendment.
we already did vote on the Second Amendment. Yes, we already did vote on the Second Amendment. I just want to make sure that now we have a new resolution that is inclusive of the amendments. So if you would adopt, we can debate the resolution after we get it back, because now we have it in totality.
No, point of order, Bishop.
Okay, go ahead. Who's got a point of order? All
Jesse
right,
Lip
yeah.
again, St. Paul's Lenexa.
Okay.
Both amendments have been approved
Okay.
by the body, so the resolution as amended is what is before us, so
Got
we
it.
can move to debate.
Okay, so we have now a speech against, correct? All right, go ahead and state. You have 3 minutes.
Nancy Forbes, Prairie Rivers District, Palmer, UMC. I work in the private sector for a business, and while I can appreciate anybody needing a leave of absence from their workplace, my business wouldn't pay me to take a leave. I could take up to 6 months, but nobody's going to pay me to take that leave. I just want to point that out, that most people don't get a paid leave of absence. So you're asking for something that most of your parishioners wouldn't have.
Thank you. That's a speech against. All right, now we have a question. Microphone 3.
Wes Robotham from Seward United Methodist Church. My question is just, what is the intention of how often a pastor would be able to access this leave?
That's a disciplinary option for a pastor to take if the pastor chooses. But yeah, and the intent is renewal.
So they would not have to wait another 6 years, correct?
Yes, they would.
Yes, I
Oh, they would have to wait another 6 years?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a question at the number 6.
All right, we have a question at number 6, okay?
I'm Greg Gahan, pastor at Craig Aldergrove Parish in Craig, Nebraska. My question is, and pardon me if this was addressed earlier, I wanted to know how the 6 years works in with part-time. Does that mean if you're half-time, then you would have to wait for 12 years? Or if you were full-time for 3 years,
Yes.
and then part-time, you would have to wait 6 additionally? Or
Yes.
it does mean that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Full-time service, thank you. All right, question on microphone 2.
Kay Scarborough, Topeka District Superintendent. My question is, this has financial implications, and I'm not sure they've been addressed, and how do those get addressed?
All right, so the question, I'm going to refer that to Zach Anderson, CFA Chair. Zach?
Yes, two things to answer that question. One, they've not been addressed by the council. Our standing rules say anything that's passed with financial implications, if we pass it, it gets referred to CFNA for us to address it, and we would bring it back tomorrow for a final vote on our proposal on how to fund it. That is our standing rules. And I have information from Scott if we want to know how much we think this would cost, if people want that. But to answer the question from Kay, specifically, CFNA would meet tonight to deal with that.
All right, so we have a statement in favor. I think what we need now is a motion to refer, to have the CFA come back with a, yes? Huh?
Point of order, Bishop.
Oh, hold on a second, yes.
Jesse Lip, St. Paul's,
Yes.
Lenexa. Because our standing rules say that it will be referred to CFNA because it has financial implications, we don't need to move to refer it to CFA.
So it's already a done deal then?
Should it be adopted, CFNA, it will be referred to CFNA
Okay.
to look at.
Got it, okay. Okay, all right. All right, Blue, you have a question.
No, he's voting, he wants to speak.
Bishop, it's green. I want to
okay,
speak
I'm
in
sorry.
favor.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Bishop, brothers and sisters, my name is Ken Van. I'm retired. Retired at 67. This is why. When I started out, I served small rural churches and discovered fairly early that one of the ways that I could minister to the community was to volunteer on the fire departments and the EMS. I have been there when people within my church have had their houses burned down, and I had to deal with them, handle them, and care for them during those crises. I've been there when people in the community have fallen off of their roofs and broken their legs and their arms. When there was an oil derrick problem and a gentleman fell off and broke his back in 3 different places and broke his leg in a couple of different places. To move him, his leg literally just moved like a snake, and we had to straighten it out. I've been there when people have run into trains with their combines, and I've been in an accident where a young mother and her 4-year-old child were decapitated. And I've gone back then and sat with them, like a lot of clergy have, for days on end as their loved ones were dying. And I got to the point where I could not handle it anymore. And I dropped into a deep depression that took me 2.5 years to recover from. If this peace had been in place during that time, I might have been able to afford to take some time off, and I might still be in full-time ministry. I hope that you will support this.
Right, that's a speech for. We have a speech against and 1 speech for. We have a question on microphone 3.
Hi, Barbara Kruger, Eudora United Methodist Church, Kansas. On the financial part, so the churches would pay for the pastor on renewal leave and also pay for the interim pastor, so we'd be paying 2 pastors at the same time?
Lenny?
No, the intention of this is that the conference pays for the interim pastor.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, we have a question on microphone, what? 5? Who's got microphone 5? Okay, microphone 5.
Martha Kessler from the Benton Church. I just have a question about the interim pastor, where those people would come from. We have not a lot of pastors just to fill our churches. So when the regular pastor would take this leave, where would be our pulpit supply being coming from?
Yeah, well, we have 54 clergy that just retired, so they'd be. Yeah. We also have CLMs and other lay speakers and other people that can help supply that because basically there are no full-time clergy that are available on standby waiting to fill in. So we will have to use clergy that make themselves available, that have already identified themselves as present, especially within an area that they can get to on a Sunday or so. So we would have a way to provide that supply.
And that would be a supply by one single pastor for that 3-month period then, or would it be?
Yes. In negotiation with the pastor, the church would have what we call a pulpit supply during that time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Microphone 6. So I see, is that a green card or blue?
It's a blue.
I'm sorry, okay. So you got a question?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Clarification. I'm Bill Swick from St. James United Methodist Church in Bellevue, Nebraska. And my question on this is that I don't see anything in here that says how often this could be done.
6 years.
No, it says 6 years before. It doesn't say you have to have 6 years first. It doesn't say every 6 years. It doesn't say when. Read it closely. It does not say that.
Would you like? Okay, so that's your question. If you'd like to make an amendment, think about it, and we'll see what we can do to clean that up if it's necessary. All right, we have question 4.
Hi, Rebecca Yelly, serving in Elkhorn, Nebraska, on the western
And you
edge
have
of
a
Omaha.
question, Rebecca?
I do. My question is about the preliminary numbers that have been put together in relationship to this resolution. If we could hear those preliminary numbers before it would be adopted and referred to CFNA, I think that might give us greater clarity.
Scott Brewer, can you move to a mic? I think, or Zach Anderson, whoever's got the preliminary numbers.
Is it appropriate for us to let
Thank you, Bishop.
Lasser know that now would be the
They are currently based upon service records and looking at increments of service. About 326 ordained and licensed clergy with at least 6 years of service serving in the conference. Assuming we could develop a schedule where 1/6 of those clergy take a leave in a given year, that would mean 3 months for about 54 clergy a year. Now, we have made some amendments to the resolution which have ended some of the minimum salary requirements that were included in there previously, so it's a little more difficult to make an assumption. But based upon an assumption that we would be compensating for the equivalent time of service, so 1/4, 1/2, 3/4 full time, so that this is not simply pulpit supply for Sunday, but is a pastoral presence for that 3-month period. And assuming that compensation level is equivalent to minimum salary for a full-time local pastor, which I admit is a major assumption to make in this. The total amounts only for salary related to that piece, would be about $500 a year. There would also be, I think, additional costs either related to staffing support for the district superintendents and the administration of the program, the recruitment and supervision support related to the clergy, and so there might also be possibly other additional staffing expenses that would be required to be covered to properly administer the program.
Thank you, Scott. Do you have a follow-up question, Rebecca?
I do. So, Scott, am I correct in thinking that in our work here as an annual conference, when we look at our budget from year to year, we would need to then find $500,000 in our current budget that's in the packet to shift
Rebecca,
to make this?
direct the conversation to me, not to Scott.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm used to making eye contact with the people I'm asking questions to. So my question then is about where that would need to come from in our current budget. We would have to make some shifts.
Scott?
That would be at the prerogative of CFA. I would assume probably the first place they would look is elsewhere in our existing budget to find those funds.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. Microphone 2. Do you have a question?
I have a question. Bill Ritter, Blue River and Elkhorn Valley District Superintendent. A question on clarity on who exactly will be responsible for identifying the pulpit supply and recruiting them for the.
The resolution identifies the district superintendent. Bill.
All right, thank you for your question. We have a, let's see, question number 5. All right, number 5.
John Lewis, First United Methodist at Scott City, Kansas. My question is, since this is already a policy in the Book of Discipline about renewal leave, where do the current costs lie? Is it both for the pastor on leave and for the incoming interim pastor, that cost on the local church, or is it already split up in this fashion where the conference helps with that cost?
All right, we have somebody that can answer that question for us. John, could you restate your question, please? I see Scott coming to the mic here.
Sure. As Lenny mentioned, this is already the renewal leave provided for in the Book of Discipline, and the motion is clarifying how it would work. What I'm wondering is if the current cost for both the pastor who would be going on leave and for the pastor coming in as pulpit supply or interim pastor is currently by discipline borne by the local church, so that really the change is having conference assistance to the local church and having this current discipline practice move forward.
Scott?
This is not an area of deep expertise, I will admit, but my understanding is that at this point, the conference provides no subsidy for renewal leave for pastors assigned to local or appointed to local churches. There may be funds that are available through scholarships, through grants, or elsewhere, but not through our conference mission shares budget.
Thank you.
So at this point, the whole cost is on the church, local church's responsibility.
No. Not necessarily. In many cases, I do think clergy find grants from other entities to help to offset those costs.
All right. We have a question at microphone 2.
James Griffith, Emmanuel Abilene. Scott addressed the cost, but my understanding is he addressed it as pertains to elders only. I do not see anything in this that says licensed local pastors would be exempt from this, and I believe that would increase the cost dramatically. Could you please address that?
The estimates I provided were for all licensed and ordained clergy serving any increment from 1/4 to full time.
Thank you.
Is that microphone 5? Yes?
Yes.
Do you have a question?
Yes. Lauren Baker Thomas. I'm serving in Extension Ministry as a hospital chaplain at the University of Virginia Health System. My question is about how this applies to people at appointments, at full-time appointments over 6 years in extension ministry settings.
It's appointed.
It doesn't.
It doesn't apply?
Not an extension ministry. That's just, as I understand it, pastors in a local congregation.
Okay. I'll come back with an amendment.
Thank you. Number 1, microphone 1.
Dougal, Oswatami and Lane. I took a renewal leave back in the late 90s after my husband began to have some health issues. And I was gone 6 weeks at the time, even though I could have been allowed 3 months or close to it. The two churches I was serving at the time worked that out wonderfully with the district superintendent. It's not as hard as you're making it sound like it is when you have retired pastors, lay pastor or lay speakers and a wonderful district superintendent like we have in all of our districts, it's not as hard as you're making it sound, and it's not as expensive as you're making it sound, but it is necessary sometimes for pastors to have that break just in order to be able to come back and keep it going. So I highly speak in high favor of this motion to continue this practice and to do it well in our, through our discipline.
So we have 2 speeches for and 1 speech against. Microphone 4.
Adam Barlow Thompson from the neighboring movement, Extension Ministry folks, oh yeah. And I would like to call the question on the motion.
All right. That is not debatable. If you're ready to end debate, call the question. So, let's see. So it takes two-thirds of the body to call the question. If you would call the question, raise your hand. Be ready to vote. Opposed? Same sign. All right, so we're ready to vote on resolution. Okay. All right, so.
Bishop?
Yes.
Point of clarification. Microphone 6.
I'm sorry, microphone 6. 6, okay, I see you now.
Lyle Shane, Milford, Nebraska. I was standing here before his motion that
Sorry,
called the question.
Lyle, I didn't see
I was
you.
going to
We've already
move
closed.
a referral, and there isn't a card to show moving referral.
Right.
I know we have the call to the question before us, and I just wanted to clarify there weren't enough colored cards for what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Lyle. We'll make note of that. All right, so we've called the question. We need a vote on it, and then it'll be referred to CFA if it passes. Okay? All right. If you will support Resolution 11, let me get to it. We voted on the question. Yes, we voted on the question. The question has been called, and so now we're ready to vote on the resolution. All right? If you will adopt resolution number 11, renewal leave for clergy, raise your hand. If you would not support resolution number 11, renewal for clergy, raise your hand. So resolution 11 is adopted.